Please stand by. The live session will start in a bit. Hello everyone, and this is the Mapping 101 Thursdays Live. And this your dear boss speaking, and of course, in this session, we're going to fix something on the OpenStreetMap, which is the incorrect mapping attribute while the construction is ongoing for the Mass Rapid Transit Line 7. So without further ado, let's have some sort of analysis that we're going to analyze on what went wrong for the Mass Rapid Transit Line 7. And before we are going to fix that map, here in Deerpole Base in Tasmania City, currently we're on the rainy weather. And of course, the Philippine Standard Time is at 18:06, 6:06 p.m. So don't forget to observe some sort of physical distancing. Pandemic or COVID-19 pandemic is not yet over. So be safe always. Take good care, not only for ourselves, but also for our loved ones. And right here, we're going to analyze some sort of erratic mapping while we're going to have some sort of fixes that we're going to execute. I'm going to head into the full screen. This one is the first Cavite Industrial Estate in Tasmania City with a separate area or postal code, which is 4126. And of course, the camera got blacked out already. Apologies for some sort of technical issues. But anyways, let's move this map all over to Quezon City, and we have found, or I have found rather, the erratic mapping attribute while the Line 7 or the MRT-7 is under construction somewhere right there at the northernmost part. And such discrepancy in the attribute could cause confusion for some. Let's take note of these differences. Upon zooming it in much deeper, the erratic mapping got detected. And of course, we don't like that to be happen at any cost. So let's begin fix this map. And of course, I'm going to show it to you on the another screen. the map fixes that needs to be done. And here we go. On the right side of your screen is the Java OpenStreetMap editor that has been used earlier on the pilot episode, bus route fix. And this time, let's have to fix this line 7 under construction. This one is the OpenStreetMap main window. And of course, we're going to zoom it in under the Bing or the Maxart imagery. And there you go. Let's check some attributes right here. If this one is a barrier, and there's an error right there, believe it or not. For tagging attribute that you need to be followed, let me drag it to you for disclosure purposes. Instead of the railway equals subway tag attribute, you have to replace it with the term construction. That means to say that the render will read as railway under construction. Then, to add another tags or tag rather, all you need to do is to type this one, construction equals subway. I'm going to show it to you the correct tags on the screen. And there you go. The correct tagging as shown on the screen. Please take note of that. Railway equals construction, construction equals subway, and don't forget, construction colon railway equals subway. To add another tag, don't forget to hold shift, then enter. Let's type it in. Construction colon sub or railway rather, be sure I'm going to rewrite it. And there you go. On the right side of your screen, there are those tags or memberships that you need to know. Those memberships are the relations. If you don't have any idea about this one, or if you need more information, kindly visit wiki.openstreetmap.org for more tagging guidance and information. And of course, we're going to correct this one. The whole line 7 under construction. What went wrong for this one is this. If we're going to check the history of the editing, the erratic tagging of those tags could be attributed to the previous user's mistakes. So sorry guys if I have to fix this map, but this needs your pulse attention. And of course, some portions are not yet enough. I'm going to fix something. And yes, of course, map fixes could be much better if you could participate in most mapping sessions that involves validations, fixes, and anything. Those beams as you have shown, or these beams as shown on your screen, let me remove these lower thirds. Such missing beam information could cause some sort of issues for certain mappers in which they do not know that those beams are existing. And we're still here at the Highway 170 7th Radial Road, also known as the Commonwealth Avenue. Oh my goodness me. There are some parts that may get cut already. Oh my goodness me. It's cut. Confirmed as cut. Cut segments rather. And it's unacceptable for a certain mapping rendering software. How could you tell if those segments are completed? Let me tell this to you. The comparison on the build statuses could be varying depending on the progress of any construction projects as imposed by the government. And of course, don't forget that the North Luzon Expressway Harbor Link Segment 10 C3R10 segment could open at any time. So please stay tuned to latest news and information sources for the latest updates. Whether it's GMA News, CNN Philippines, or People's Television, there you have it. And for those from the other countries, don't forget to visit PTV portal at, or should I say, GMA News portal at gmanetwork.com/news. Or if you're going to visit CNN Philippines, just visit cnnphilippines.com or www.cnn.ph. Or let me simplify this one. For GMA News, just type in gmanews.tv, and for CNN Philippines, www.cnn.ph for the latest news and information on what's happening here in the Philippines. Back to the Fix Your Map segment. Of course, we need to reconnect these two segments, or way segments rather. And if you're using the ID editor or JOSOM, Java OpenStreetMap editor, just press the A or alpha. And as you can see, those shaded red could be like the extension. Click it in order to connect. Press escape if you're done. Press S for JOSM editors if you need it. Don't forget to disconnect those segments, or node rather. And don't forget to correct those erratic tagging, as what I have explained this earlier. I'll show it to you once again for the guidance. Once again. The railway should be construction. And there you go. Somebody would be like to ask me, why is it that we need to tag those railway or highway under construction like this? Simply because the renderer for highway or railway under construction could be correctly identified as railway or highway under construction if you're going to visualize it. And of course, this is to avoid confusion on most mappers right there, especially if you're going to begin mapping those items that are still under construction. There are other items or tags that are needed to be placed properly. On those tags, or tagging rather. And then in that case of the expropriated property, and by the way, before that, don't forget to extend this one. Click the drag, or zoom it out if necessary. Be careful once again. If you're going to double track it, avoid those nearby obstruction, and if possible, the layering must be 2 and above for the railway. I got it. Let's zoom it in right there. Press this one. Then drag, then click, drag, then click. And be careful with the footbridge. It has to be far away to avoid some sort of. Let me explain this to you guys. For the layering, say for example, if this one is the ground surface, then let's assume that the ruler could be the second layer or first layer rather. Unfortunately, those lower thirds got obstructed already. And by the way, as you can see, from Dearborn basis perspective, the lower third text could be assumed as a first or ground layer or layer equals 0, which could be disregarded safely. And this ruler could be the first layer. Oops. And the second layer could be like more of the infrastructure. Let me illustrate this one with a ball pen. The black ball pen could serve as a second layer. So please remember that if you're going to map out those layers. Then going back to the OpenStreetMap or Java OpenStreetMap editor, once again, if you have to install GeoSM or JOSM, if you call it, you need a Java runtime environment in order for the software to work properly. Still on extension for the curves. And of course, there are some parts that are needed to be downloaded. Let me press the escape and S or share. Then we're going to correct some portions of the line 7. Such erratic editing could cause confusion on most people, particularly if you have any sort of disability, which is supposedly a non-hindrance factor. Then let's double check it once again. Then let me drag this part of the line 7. And don't forget to observe spacing when it comes to double tracking. Press alpha and then click, then zoom it out if necessary in order to give it a try to track properly. And you're still tuning in live on Mapping 101 Thursday session with Dear Paul. And of course, let's zoom it in like there are some sort of errors. Click, then escape. Then let's correct this one by click and drag. Oops, have some sort of mistake. Don't forget to press share, then or S if you can't understand some sort of radio alphabet. And of course, you're still tuning in to Mapping 101 session with Dear Paul. Thank you for watching. And of course, let's drag this one. Let's zoom this out if necessary. And then don't forget to avoid some sort of mapping mistakes if you're going to double track those railways. And I have spotted some sort of errors right there. All you need to do is to correct those misalignment and then continue extending those nodes right there. Then correct it if necessary. Then click and drag. Then there's an alignment error. And by the way, if you're wondering on what imagery I'm using, by the way, it's a Maxar imagery. Bing could be used, but I'm not guaranteeing you for some sort of error-free alignment. And there you go. Oops. Double tracking is done at the other end. Oops. We're almost done. I'm checking if this one is a valid one. And then you go. Let's check it once again if this is a valid one. And there you go. Still valid, but be careful if you're going to map above the footbridge. Remember the layering. Layer equals 1 for footbridge. Layer equals 2 if railways, and so on and so forth. Such layering mistake could cause unwanted complaints on some mappers that, you know, needs thorough analysis. And of course, we are done already. Let's check this tagging. The gauge should be 1435. Electrified should be rail or third rail specification. Check the construction. The voltage at 7, should I say 750. I'm not sure if they will change those voltage specifications. Construction should be the subway. Frequency is at 0. But if you're still confused on those tagging, you might have to visit wiki.openstreetmap.org for more tagging guidance and information. And as such, while the whole Dearball base still on its rainy season, and as you can see, I have to duplicate those tags that are needed to be duplicated. Check the spacing of the line 7. Adjust if necessary. And there you go. Check the spacing always for the infrastructure under construction. And right here in the area of responsibility, which is the Quezon City. Shout out to Quezon City residents right there. Stay safe, be well always, and don't forget to follow those local ordinances that are concerning public safety. And of course, check always the spacing. If you're intended to do some sort of editing task that requires immediate attention. Don't forget to check also the route relations. Right click, then select relation. Select all. After you click, right click, then edit. Then download the required relations and I'll show it to you in a bit. Oops! On the route relation, you have to be careful when it comes to mapping out some sort of route relation for the upcoming line 7. I'll shut off the what to call this, the lower thirds right in a bit because it's obstructed already. And there you go. What went wrong for this one, especially for the northbound lane? Let's focus first on the northbound lane. The stop position is at the bottom portion. So let's correct this one by click and drag. And there you go. It's corrected already. Let's try correcting this one by pressing the up and down buttons. And for some reason, some portions are needed to let it go. Let's zoom it out. And of course, the survey area has to be re-examined once again. Oh my goodness me. There's something terribly wrong. Let me zoom it in into the 34 nodes rather up to another narrow highway. And there you go. Let's zoom it in further. And then, oh my goodness me. That's why sometimes those map rendering software got crazy. Let me say those 20 nodes up to the expropriated portion of the property. Oh, wow. Let me download some sort of the line 7 portions. Oh my goodness. There's something terribly wrong. You need to have some sort of assistance, don't forget to connect with Dear Paul in order to have those kind of map fixes to be executed. And let's try some sort of, wait, let's close this window. Let's and focus first on the southbound or the north southbound rather. Oh my goodness me. There's something terribly wrong. Let me reopen this one. The north. I have realized lately that you might need to start it from the scratch. Oh my goodness me. This is meant to be the northbound. And let me rearrange those items. If this meant for southbound, then let's rearrange some items here. And there you go. This one has to go. And by the way, don't forget to save your work just in case of power interruption. The file could be recovered quickly after the restart. Oh my goodness me. What are these guys doing to ruin some sort of mapping experience? Let me deselect this one and then select this. Let's assume that it's from north, it's interchange. And then you have to switch this one. Then this has to go. And this has to go as well. Let me try to reconnect those nodes, but to no avail. The 6 nodes. Oh my goodness. Let me zoom it in into the 7 nodes or the end or tail end of the 7th node. Oh no. Apparently, there are some missing pieces that needs to be fixed. And as you can see, double tracking seems not been started. And I think there's a need for duplication of some sort of way segment. Let me zoom it in once again to Fairview area or Fairview district in Quezon City. Seems that these two are not cooperating well. And there you go. Those fixes could be very hard. And as you can see, there's a new depot right somewhere in Quezon City. Hopefully those construction would be expedited. Philippine Standard Time, it's now um, 18:53. Let me zoom it in. Oh my goodness. There are some sort of disconnected nodes between them. Not acceptable. Let me zoom it in further. And you're still watching Mapping 101 Thursdays with Dear Paul. Oh no. Say red flag already if there are some series of disconnected way segment in which it's not acceptable. So don't forget to join into another way segment elsewhere. I'll show it to you. Make sure that if you're going to transfer the node with the node number like this one, node ID 5,535,000 or 5,535,000,000 something. Just make sure that the ID of another one is set 0 before you press mic. And there you go. Otherwise, one of the node could be deleted permanently unless you have some sort of recovery technique. Don't forget to disconnect the node. Then switch into another node that has a 0 ID. As you can see, there's an ID, there's none. So we can safely merge it. Also, we have to investigate this way segment. Oh my goodness. And as you can see, it's the before. This one is before. The results will be disclosed on the after. So going back to the Java OpenStreetMap editor, we're going to investigate something that's irregular. I don't know if there's an honest mistake committed by another editor, and we're now on the first hour of this programming. Hopefully, there would be no further issues. I'm going to download another portion, and as you can see, the right side or below of your screen is actually my Milad depot. We're going to trace. Let's check it first if those tags are attributed properly. And remember that the layer should be a second one for the mass rapid transit if it's elevated, and the foot page is at 1. And it's correct. So there you go. Here you go. We're still investigating those relation tags. For some reason, that those tags have to be attributed properly. Oops! I think we need to extend something. The line 7 has to be extended and corrected if possible. Let's double check those attributes right there on the right side of your screen. And we're going to flash those tags that has to be corrected. Remember that those tags, especially those keys and values, are case sensitive. So please check with the wiki.openstreetmap.org for guidance and information. Let's add those two tags. Railway or construction railway as equal to subway. And here's the trivia that I'm going to discuss with you later on. That why is it those mass rapid transit lines are universally or technically a subway? In most cases, engineering terms could be misunderstood by anybody else. Of course, as a fellow civil engineering student, as far as I know that I have a special needs, or let me click the another segment from San Jose del Monte. Has to be on top, and this one then what is this one doing here? Well, it shouldn't be right there. Or maybe some sort of, you know, oh my goodness me. There's something's missing with the route relations. Let me zoom this in. I think it's a technical error that have occurred. I hope that this could be finished on time, on or before 2100. So I'm going to focus more on the mapping, and I'm going to transfer to another display. We're going to have some breaks, so please stay tuned. And of course, we're going to have a short break, scheduled to, you know, manage some sort of mapping errors that needs to be fixed. And of course, we're having some sort of technical errors. So we're going to have some sort of short break. Of course, we're live already on Dear Paul. And of course, you're still tuning in to 101 or Mapping 101 Thursday's live session. Fix the map for line 7. Of course, I'm going to show it to you. Java OpenStreetMap Editor. Go and it should be shown on the screen. And I have realized something that if you're going to type those keys, please make sure that the route or construction colon route has to be attributed properly into the subway value and not the other values around, so as to avoid some sort of errors. The from and the to values have to be attributed properly, or else, there would be some sort of errors already on the OpenStreetMap rendering systems. So let's continue with this Fix the Map series. And so, without further ado, let's have to connect those nodes. Let's increase those distance of these two. And there you go. Such errors could be prevented if there would be some sort of preventive measures that have been taken place. And this one is considered a page. Or so, we're going to connect these two. And let's check the status. If it's connected properly. Well, it's not connected properly. Then let's troubleshoot it once again. If this is the northbound lane, oops, it's disconnected. Of course, we might have to correct all the way from the southern end. Let's use this one as an example. As far as you know, there are some remnants of the demolished bypass overpass. And let's have a preliminary validation test first. It may take a while to check there are errors that are needed to be fixed or any sort of warnings. While we're waiting, let's have some sort of talks. As you can see on the right side of the screen, remnants could be used as a references to the mass rapid transit, and of course, without deleting those way or node segment, you can actually reuse them for another purpose. Unlike other editors that are indiscriminately deleting those way segments, though I have to admit that I've been going through indiscriminate deleting or deletion of those way segments until one of the OpenStreetMap Philippines community member got into the way, reminding me that it's not acceptable to delete without a valid reason. And just to avoid some sort of vandalisms, all of those fix the map live portion could be disclosed into the change set. And don't forget that everything could be changed depending on its intention or other way around, like adding some sort of features. And let's have some sort of full screen here. Once again, for the recap, the correct tagging as shown on your screen are the following: railway equals construction, construction equals subway, and construction colon railway equals subway. If you need more information, just visit wiki.openstreetmap.org for tagging guidance and information. And as such, I'm going to share the full screen instead, so as for you to open the OpenStreetMap portal, which is OpenStreetMap or osm.org. Hopefully, this could be loaded properly while the StreamYard is on live. And of course, the preliminary results are out already. I'm going to show you the whole screen. The preliminary results are as follows. We have a warning already. Wikipedia article is a redirect. All you need to do is to fix those erratic entry and we're going to show you this one. It has to be MRT line 7, open parenthesis, Metro Manila, close parenthesis. Unfortunately, it wasn't working properly. And of course, once again, for the accountability's sake, it becomes MRT line 7, open parenthesis, Metro Manila, close parenthesis. We have to edit this one. Let's make it MRT line 7, Metro Manila. And let's assume that this first entry is fixed already. Railway construction without construction. You have to be reminded of the tagging guidelines. Let me show it to you some friendly tips. Add those missing tags if needed. We can safely ignore this route relation without route tag and way and node near other way. So without further ado, you may either extend those lines or remain as is. But I'm not guaranteed those 100% sureness about this one. So let me share it to you once again. Those results of the mapping 101. The whole line 7 still in progress. So you need some sort of fixing those maps that are needed for the next generation mappers to come. And let's use some sort of remnants of those demolished structures. This and this has to go. Hold Shift plus click, then Alt plus J, and there you go. It's disconnected. Click, then Shift plus click, then Alt plus J or Juliet, and It's disconnected already. And don't forget to disconnect those nodes that are unwanted already. And don't forget to, you know, identify those failways that are needed to be extended all over right there to the north. And apologies if there are some prompts that are appeared on the screen. It's actually a plug-in. Oh my goodness me. Why is it that they are mapping as a light rail when in fact it's a subway? And let's add another one. And the same note right here that says 4.44 kilometer from Q's Quebec Charlie Yankee facing Bravo Lima Romeo Foxtrot Oscar Charlie 268. And if somebody's going to decode it, comment it down below. I'm not 100% sure what does it mean. And we have some sort of a shout out, a comment, but maybe it's not appropriate. And of course, we're still tuning in to Mapping 101 Thursdays. And if you are going to decode this one or this note, preferably the on-site engineers would understand this. Maybe there would be like uh, let's separate this one. Don't forget to ensure that the relation has not been broken. Of course, let me download some sort of portions of this one. Hopefully there would be no technical issues here while there is a need to extend those line 7. Of course, let's paste or copy those attributes. I'm not 100% sure if the And as always, I'm not 100% sure if it's certain already. Of course, we're going to tag this one. Then, okay, let's extend this one. Watch out! This imagery is not calibrated properly. So, mappers writer, you have to be very careful on the aerial imagery. Much better if you're using some sort of drone imagery that is inspired from Lupang Arenda drone imagery with the collaboration from the OpenStreetMappers. Oh my goodness me, there's something wrong here. Why is it that there's a connection wherein it should not be made? Oh my goodness me. Those boundary relations could cause some sort of issues here. Anyways, let's ignore this one and proceed to extension. And say, for example, if you're going to extend those lines, you have to make sure that it would not connect to another relation one after another to avoid some sort of cluttering issues. And there you go. We're going to extend once again. Let's download another segment or the tiles rather. And there's a problem here. Have to declutter this one to make sure that it's correctly identified as a mass rapid transit. And where are we going to? Of course, we have to check out those boundary relations from time to time. And there's some sort of issues here. boundary relation should be at the center and not the other way around. Oh my goodness me. There's some sort of overlapping relations here. Let's fix this one. And then, oops, we have to undo this one because it got stick already to another way segment. And don't forget to move if necessary. Then another one, another node to be fixed. Then let's move it once again. And then it has to be free flowing or a straight through one. Okay, it's conflict done. Then before we're going to extend, let's download this one. And of course, the end. There you go. It's now fully connected. This, and this has to be selected. And it has to be one way with a speed limit or maximum speed of 80 kilometers per hour, frequency at 0. And of course, don't forget the specification, subway specification if it's a heavy rail. Kindly remember that. And the color on the hex color code, it's number sign 8 Bravo 0000. I'll show it to you on the screen. Once again, we're still on fix the map MRT-7. I'm going to add the color on the British spelling, hashtag or number sign 8 Bravo 0000. I'm going to flash it on the screen. And don't forget to check those relations. Just like if you're in a relationship with your special someone, it has to be maintained. And let's check this one. That 27 nodes of a certain segment still on a solo mode. Right. In this case, we're going to fix some sort of connection issues here, or maybe let me convert this one into the southbound and this one for the northbound. Let me disconnect this to convert it into the southbound. And of course, oops, we might accidentally delete another node if both of the node IDs have it. Okay, this one is supposedly be the southbound, so let's delete it. And then this one is the southbound. This one is the northbound. Then let it be extended. And of course, we're still here on the Mapping 101 session with dear Paul. And of course, I do appreciate if you're going to follow this page for more updates. And of course, going to fix those attributes. Frequency at 0. Let's check first the layers. Has to be 2. And I'm not 100% sure if the voltage is at 750. Let's add the attributes of this maximum speed of 80 and unfortunately, it's too hard to tell if the MRT-7 consortium in Bulacan could be commenced due to right-of-way issues right there. Fortunately, the expropriation in Quezon City has been achieved. Thank you very much. And kudos to Department of Transportation team. And it's unfortunate that there would be another remapping if this ever would be diverted elsewhere. Such greediness has to be stopped in order to flourish it with the progress that we have to aim for. And this one is southbound, this one is northbound. Correct those attributes if necessary. Maybe we're going to have some sort of, let me see, setting somewhere else on the underground. And of course, I'll pick this one, this and this. And then, hmm, let's merge these two. And there you go. Let's set this value into -1, assuming that they are underground already. Tunnel equals yes. Layer must be equals to -1. Delete the bridge attribute. Of course, solve to fix another portion. Such fixes could be very hard if you don't have any sort of local knowledge that you need. And don't forget the expropriated properties. Let me check those attributes. Whereas the one-way attribute seems to be missing. And okay, it's now connected already. Beware of the expropriated property. Those buildings affected, especially if these chains have to be turned. And these are the approximations. Hmm. For mapping those expropriated buildings, you might need to add a certain note that a certain building will be demolished anytime soon in order to give way for the construction of the Mass Rapid Transit Line 7. To map those expropriated buildings, and maybe I'll go into, you know, estimate those turning radius, say that this one or this one is at the end. And by the way, if you're using the set-top box, please be reminded that you need to rescan tomorrow or later on because there would be a new channel to be aired, and I'll write some sort of reminders. Let me type it in. And it would be a banner already. So it would be a series of reminders that are being flashed on the screen. I'm not 100% sure if the curvature could be correct because there's some sort of expropriated buildings ready for demolition. If, say for example, BFA plays in the games could be like Survey buildings if there would be some sort of building demolitions. And of course, there would be more like of humanitarian issues if there would be a demolition of certain buildings that got affected. And by the way, let's extend this one. One, oops, one, two, three. It's too close already. One, two, three. Let me extend this one. Let's auto download this one. And another one. One, two, three, and four. Let me move these nodes. Then, one single node could be moved, or a double node rather. One, oh my goodness me. There are some sort of alignment issues right here. One, two. I'm going to fix it later on. And you're still tuning into Mapping 101 session with Dear Paul. And it's every Thursday on Dear Paul. Tomorrow could be Dear Paul in Focus, back to back with Adulting with Joyce Spring, Shot of Sanity. Oh my goodness me. There are some sort of alignment issues that are needed to be addressed, even though it's under construction. And there you go. Such misalignment could cause some sort of rendering issues right here. So please make sure that those alignments or misalignments are addressed properly. Let me select those two-way segments, reconstruction, and let's check first the relations. Oops! This one is now okay already. maybe the San Jose del Monte. This one has to go. And now it's fixed. Maybe there would be further edits right after this fix the map episode of Mapping 101 session. So let's have a review, second validation review. So a bit of reminder, if you're watching to Facebook Live, still on a test broadcast, and if you own your high definition TV sets or set-top boxes, you need to rescan in order to watch more of GMA network channels. And of course, don't forget to tune it in on Dearpod in Focus live session tomorrow, 1800 Philippine Standard Time. And of course, there would be a premiere edition on YouTube and right after this live on Facebook Watch. Condensed portions could be aired on Spotify, iTunes, most podcast platforms, including Anchor.fm. And during the transition to a greater and more braver type of the podcast, there would be some sort of renaming already on Spotify, iTunes, Anchor.fm, and most podcast platforms. We're going to migrate beyond Dear Paul in Focus. There would be Mapping 101 to be aired on a condensed format. And hopefully, the condensed format could be uploaded all over the podcast edition or the radio edition rather. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share Turbo 34 social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also on YouTube. Don't forget that more vlogs could be uploaded, including the backlog vlogs that are needed to be addressed. And I do apologize for some sort of delays. And hopefully, more of the Mapping 101 Thursdays live session could be aired on Dear Paul. Let me tell you some sort of learning experience that I have been through yesterday in the WeMap episode. Map Rode has not discussed due to overtime, picks for review, tasking manager for, and another platform that could be used for microtasking. But wait, the Chosom is taking too long, so we're going to have a full screen. And there you go. Live session comes to a close. So we're going to conclude this one with some sort of conclusion. And thank you very much for watching the Mapping 101 Thursdays live session. So see you next week. Same time, same venue, FB page of Dearport 24. God bless you all. And see you tomorrow for Dear Paul in Focus at 1800 hours and Adulting with Joyce Spring, Shut Up Sanity. Both are live sessions. SOS live session is at 2000 hours. And see you guys tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Sweet dreams. God bless us all. Don't forget the precautionary or health precautionary measures to observe 5S, including physical distancing and, of course, I love you all.